Blue Origins and those fucking whores that are up there for women just makes no sense. That's totally cool with you?
Yes.
Okay, so
let's get into it.
You've watched the Christopher Reeve documentary called Super/Man on Max, have you?
I have not. Have you?
Yes, and it was absolutely incredible. That is how you do a documentary. It was so good.
What's great about it?
I mean, look, I like the subject matter. Obviously, I like Superman. I was barely an infant when those movies came out, but I thoroughly love them, and they were kind of groundbreaking for the time. They did a lot in cinematography that had never been done. Like, it looked somewhat real. It still holds up now. I watched the movie a couple of years ago, 1 and 2, because those were the good ones. It still holds up. It does kind of look like he's flying. You know? And he did such, like, they were going to go with like Robert Redford as Superman. Like, it talks about like casting. It talked about behind the scenes. It talked about his life, what his kids thought of him as a father, how he thought about marriage.
You said the name pretty fast. What was the documentary called again?
It's called Super/Man, the story of Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
You know who Christopher Reeve is, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you know what ultimately ended up happening to him? That he became paralyzed from the neck down?
No.
Oh my God. You'll be so, because you don't know any of this. So you're going to be so inspired. And there were some things that even somebody who did know about Christopher Reeve, there were some things in the documentary that I did not know. And they dove deep where they should. And it dealt with societal issues, emotion. What I got out of it was that people are always looking for heroes, whether they're fake or real. Right now, we need real heroes, and we have less. We have more adversaries. There's more evil. Kind of like why I was so turned off by Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah.
Is because it was stacked with so much evil. There was nobody to root for except for Daredevil, and I was longing for heroism. I was longing for more of that, more of Daredevil, more of people willing to stick their neck out to do the right thing. And I saw some of that in the Superman documentary. So I was like, okay, that's what I'm feeling is the same message. And I actually ultimately ended up finishing Daredevil because somebody told me it gets better. There is some inspiration.
Yeah, I watched Daredevil. I thought
all 8 episodes. Is it 8 or 9? I think it might be 9. Daredevil Born Again, the new one.
Oh, okay. No, I have not seen that.
You're watching the old iteration, which is great. Way better than the new one. And then
Is that Disney Plus?
It's on Disney Plus now. It used to be on Netflix.
Okay.
Before Disney bought Marvel.
I was to say where things are because then people gotta Google it,
They're bringing it all back. But I'm allowing us on a tangent. I'm sorry.
No, what I have to say about that, and I think it relates to things we talked about, that case before, the woman who pretended to have cancer.
Scamanda,
yes.
Yeah,
I think that was one of our first episodes, Scamanda.
There's another one that did it recently.
Yeah.
Not the same thing, but had lied about.
That other one, there's a Hulu series about it too, with the girl who became really big, who killed her mother, or had her boyfriend kill the mother, because she pretended the girl was like sick for years.
Gypsy Rose? Oh man, that was unbelievable.
Crazy.
I still have guilt for buying season 1 of The Life and Times of Gypsy Rose or whatever, because it's her now after getting out of prison.
Yeah.
And like she wants to get laid, she wants to get married. Oh, now she likes this other guy, then she got pregnant. Like, I still have guilt buying that season because Gypsy Rose is a murderer and a sick fuck. So I'm not going to buy that anymore.
We should have an episode about because I have a lot to say and I don't want to get off on a tangent. But the saying is, people are looking for a hero or someone battling something.
Yeah.
And that hero complex is dangerous, but good. Right now, everyone's looking for a hero, and I think we have some good people out there, but we also have some really bad.
We have so much opposition.
Surprisingly awful people. Like, thought they were advocates and good people and genuinely admired them. Katy Perry.
Fuck Katy Perry. But
after what I've seen this week, I am not just disappointed, I'm disgusted.
Well, I have no disposable income right now, which I've never said in my life, by the way, not even close. And I was still going to bid on something for a very worthy charity. And what they were auctioning off was Katy Perry signed something, right? That was what they auctioned off a bunch of stuff, but that was what I could afford at the time. And I don't buy anything for myself unless 100% of the proceeds go to charity. That's it. Unless it's food or whatever, you know what I mean? Stuff for the dogs, I'll buy. And I had found out, which you probably know more about than I do, that she was on this flight to Blue Origin with Lauren Ducklips Sanchez, who is Jeff Bezos' girlfriend, Gail King, who's Oprah Winfrey's girlfriend or whatever, live-in lover, fake lesbian.
Gail King was on it too?
Gail King and Katy Perry. Katy Perry said that she was going to put the ass in astronaut. And this is a trip for women. And she was going to release, like, while floating, her set list for her next tour. And it's like,
real quick,
you dumb bitch. How is this for women again? Like,
and the fact that they used, like, it's, what is it? It's like, wokeism, but for, like, just,
that's not wokeism. That's stupidity.
No, it's like, what kind of politics is it called? It's like wokeist politics instead of actual, like, being women on that flight does nothing for women. Like, women's rights are not affected.
What have done?
And what about lower class women? Yeah. Like, they would never have that opportunity. How does it benefit women? Like, there are women working in Amazon's factories right now, breaking their back, getting painkillers from a machine, and you're taking a Blue Origin flight.
Ms. Ducklips should have paid the $250,000 for somebody, a factory worker at Amazon, who they're trying to, like, force them to work at shit hours with no breaks.
Or
don't want them to unionize.
Pee in bottles.
That's what I don't get. But if I were in their position and I had that kind of coin, if I were Lauren Sanchez, I would say, I'm not going to go because this is for women. Bernice, who has been working for us since the beginning of Amazon in the warehouse, we're going to sponsor her to go. And if she doesn't want to go, we're going to have her.
They didn't even have a single Amazon
daughter
employee.
Go. No. Well, no. They had the girlfriend of the head of Amazon, the second richest guy in the world, went. Gail King went. Katy Perry went. And they paid the $250,000, but they used it for publicity. Katy Perry wanted the publicity for her stupid tour. Obviously, I did not bid on that auction. I couldn't care less about Katy Perry moving forward. It's kind of like the Tesla cancer. Once you did us that dirty, I'm done with Katy Perry. And some of the remixes to her songs I used to listen to. Once in a Blue Moon, I was never a fan.
Daisies, I love that song.
I never even heard of it. But there was
good.
Like
it's
something
like
all the love in the world. I'm tone deaf. Whatever that song was, All the Love in the World by Katy Perry, they remixed it and it sounds really good. But so I was like, I never, like Elania, I never hated on Katy Perry. I was not a huge fan. But
I've been a huge fan. Like, it was the first, her fireworks video was like the first time I saw two guys like kissing and it being not something that was bad. Or,
her
shameful.
first hit song was I Kissed a Girl.
Yeah.
So, like, that would imply, oh yeah, this girl's an ally. Dude, she's no ally. When you're pulling Blue Origins stupidity like that, you're not an ally. You're for yourself. She's 100%. For herself. I'm done with her.
Deaf, especially in this moment.
So tone deaf. Because
Jeff Bezos was at the Trump inauguration.
Well, no, they all met just recently because Trump's saying, oh, I'm doing this, but, it's going to be really painful and we're going to hit a recession, but you guys will be fine. I mean, dude, there's all kinds of insider trading allegations.
Warren Buffett made $3 billion in a day.
Well, because he put his money in, he put it into cash. He literally cashed out because
and then bought stocks back when
because he knew, crashed. Right. But it's almost like if you wanted the ultimate insider trading scheme, you have the president who can do all these things that everybody in the world knows is going to tank taxes. So they say, dude, here, let me tell you when to buy.
Yep.
It is insider trading like on steroids. I mean, exactly. I personally think, and we got to get back to the Superman documentary, but
yeah,
I think I'm doubling down on what we said in earlier episodes where I think you have to burn something down in order to rebuild it. I think that's what's happening to America. I think Trump and his administration are going to do so much wrong. As long as we have heroes and fighters willing to be on the front lines, they're going to do so much wrong. It's going to be so bad.
That is a perfect, do you know Steve Bannon, right?
What a piece of, Gavin Newsom had him on his podcast.
Yes. And you know what he said? He said the other day on the podcast that he's like, it's time, listen up, elites, the way it's going, either you start paying a little more in taxes to make all of this frustration go away and pay a little more. He said it's going to be a lot less than it would be if when AOC gets elected. He's like, she's going to be the nominee and they're going to elect her and it's going to be a communist party in America.
That's the dumbest. Who's listening to that shit? By the way, she won't win.
It was like he's like starting to say like, millionaires, the lower class is like being wiped out. We're cutting all these social programs. If you don't start putting more money. He's telling you.
Yeah.
Then things are about to get real bad because people are getting real pissed when they see billionaires making even more. The market crashed. Your 401k, whatever, your retirement profile, Social Security is at risk. Your Medicare and Medicaid's at risk.
And yet they made $300 more million.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is so.
It looks really bad. And everyday people are getting very angry.
I hope so.
The fires are starting, is what I would say.
Is it fires or is it right now just a little spark? Because I'm waiting for but before the midterms, the
sparks were always there, with people being really pissed that he got reelected. First of all,
that was the smoldering. Yeah,
the Doge thing. Yeah, started sparks because you had a lot of government employees, people who voted for Trump, like in all these areas, like you work at whatever base or whatever VA they're having these small areas in Trump's Social Security offices. You have to have them all over. He just cut them. No more Social Security office in your town. You got to call them instead. So those employees are laid off, and the people in the town, especially older people who actually vote reliably, don't have the services they need.
But are those people speaking out? Are those people saying, okay, I voted for Trump, but this is bullshit. I waited on the phone for 8 hours. Nobody ever picked up at Social Security.
Yes.
Okay.
We have people. Yeah. Not everyone, like my dad's like, whatever. There's a lot of fraud and abuse. Like they get paid too much, whatever. You can't fire them.
When will your dad finally get it? When he's the person?
I think that there is always going to be a small minority that is, I said to him, I was like, you're radicalized. Like,
you're out of your mind. But
like no matter what,
are you enabling
like, you don't
it?
Understand? Trump is playing 3D chess, and I'm like,
he doesn't know how to play.
He doesn't know. Chess. No, I heard the two other guys in the administration.
He heard that term on Fox News or something.
Oh, like, probably he listens to a lot of that stuff. He also said like my mom came up to me the other day and she was like, "Did you hear we're getting $4,000 checks?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "Your dad said he saw this article that Trump's sending out $4,000 checks." I was like, "He probably truthed it." And whatever he says goes. People are like, "Oh, this is coming. This is what's going to be in that new tax bill that will benefit the billionaires." But it's not actually there. It's all lies. But he gets distracted by these things.
Well, we said this, I think, in our very first episode, where the only thing that would save him is if he started doling out money to people, like a stimulus, but more so, more robust.
100%.
That would help because that's the only way, because we are heading into a Republican recession. Yeah, for sure.
100%. I don't completely disagree with what he's doing with China. I would like to move supply chains to the U.S., but what you have to do is give companies tax incentives to get them to start jobs here and give the American people a stimulus check so we can afford higher prices in the meantime.
You have to do both.
Both.
Just like the film industry in Los Angeles is struggling because there wasn't enough incentive. They kind of took all that for granted for all these past decades. So now they can film in Canada. They can go to Costa Rica. They can actually go international, really, but they can go international. They can go to Portugal and it'll probably still be cheaper than doing it in LA, right here, 10 minutes down the street. So, but okay, we're topic surfing a bit, but I think this is really important. I hope you don't get mad at me for asking. Your parents are radicalized. You told them they're radicalized, but here's their good son who's willing to do anything for them. They want to do this. They want to do that. They want to come visit. They want to go on vacation. You're there planning, helping.
I felt like a parent, playing a full.
But is that enabling? Because how are you going to force them to maybe get a clue at some point?
It's not my responsibility anymore with him. My mom, she still abortion thing is a big thing. And she was very happy that Trump got, Roe v. Wade overturned, but she doesn't like Trump. She actually said she wrote in Bernie Sanders. I don't know if I fully believe her.
I don't believe her. She knows that made you happy.
I think so.
When I told you how much I like Bernie Sanders out of the blue, you were like,
I was ecstatic.
Yes. Yeah, because it's like you think that it's working. The message is working.
Yes, finally, like people who are like, "Oh, he's a socialist." Like you don't even listen to like what his actual policies are. Yeah. You have this automatic view of him, and that's starting to disintegrate. And I think that's really good. And I feel like this government thing that's the Elon and Trump burning down.
Well, it is burning down.
They're starting to show people like, we didn't get any, like, we couldn't even buy eggs. We bought, my dad loves like making eggs on like Saturday and Sunday morning.
You talk about eggs a lot.
We couldn't afford eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like a childhood thing. Like every Saturday and Sunday morning, that's the only time my dad would cook. He'd make eggs. So like,
what's the vernacular of the American like person who goes to work, works hard, wants to have a little bit of downtime, and some of the things that you enjoy include like a nice family breakfast with like eggs and toast and the whole fresh squeezed juice and all this stuff. And those staples that you would think are just a part of life that everybody can afford. You can't afford.
Exactly.
Is that insane? You can't afford to have breakfast in the morning?
You're like, okay, let's not get it, or what would we have to put back?
You guys didn't buy eggs?
We bought the liquid egg instead. Because egg beaters, yeah, because literally the eggs, the only ones that they had in stock were $15.99. Like, Vital Farms, which used to be around $10.
I've been vegan for so long, but they used to have 99-cent eggs at Trader Joe's. I remember seeing them. I didn't buy them because I was already vegan. 99-cent eggs. This was not like 40 years ago.
No.
Like, what's happening now is, again, because the Vladimir Trump's concentration and Elon Musk is for themselves, to enrich themselves, to literally take over the world, that all the things are promises that they said they would do outside the things that I think Trump has always wanted to do, which is mass deportation and all of these budget cuts for the mega wealthy, which I don't think anybody really voted for. They voted for the deportations, but all the other stuff that they're doing is contrary to what they said they would do.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they're actually maxing out on some of their threats that they said they would do to their political enemies, to anybody that would thwart their plan. Judges now. Like, nobody in the United States is safe when the government, which is what happened in Nazi Germany and other places in the world, is against you and is trying to stop you from exercising what your rights are. They're taking away freedom. They're trying to. And they're succeeding right now.
They really are. And the fear that it's causing, like, I've never seen this level before. Like, the last time, whatever, you didn't have people just getting grabbed, or like American citizens. ICE was like last week or something, accidentally grabbed and detained an American citizen.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah.
They've just deported a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
And a lot of the deportees are in error. They're not even the drug dealer. Because guess what? I'm for deporting every drug dealer here that shouldn't be here.
They deported 200 guys that they deported to El Salvador. 2/3 of them turned out not to be gang members because their criteria was like, if you have tattoos of like a crown. It was like someone had a crown over a basketball with their team, and it was like, okay, you must be.
They're morons too. That's the thing. If they were doing such a bang up job, they can't do anything right. They're effing up everywhere, dude. Innocent people, thousands. So in the myriad that's been done in just 100 days in office, which is insane, right? And we have to make it to the midterms and hope we still have a country, because that's what's going to save us. If everybody rises up and starts fighting, like I said,
usually when
you your own little hero,
party have full power, something happens, and historically in the last 50 plus years, they lose the House or the Senate.
Right, but in history, no administration has ever done what Vladimir's doing right now.
So that's what I'm saying. Maybe we will get both. It's possible we'll get both. Because usually
we should get both by such a margin. My prayer and my hope is that because it's such a atrocity what's going on, and because it's been done to a certain degree that no one's ever seen in our country, take advantage of the presidency and enrich himself and his sycophants and his acolytes to the degree where it looks to be illegal in so many ways. And this is just our opinion, right? But it's been done to such.
You can't say the Supreme Court told him to bring that guy back.
They're not even listening.
And he said no.
Well, because they handed him so much power, and that's what happens when you give somebody who shouldn't have that much power.
Corrupts.
Absolute power. It corrupts absolutely. So I think because it's so egregious what's going on, that I'm hoping the results of the midterm are egregious in our direction, in the direction of right, where then you need, I think, 67%, and if both houses, you can impeach.
Yeah, and I will say that also what I was saying before, like, I know someone very close to me.
And change laws. That's the killer. Like anybody convicted of a crime should not be able to run for office anymore.
You would think that would be a law because you can't even go into the military or whatever if you have a prior
it's not
conviction.
Consistent. Just like our legal system. So
why would you be able to serve?
Just like our legal system is not consistent. It's like ooh.
What if you were convicted, but you didn't actually do it, but you never got it overturned? Like, what about people with drug crimes? It might.
I think it would have to be a felony. If you're convicted of a felony, but it's not. It's not that way. People that are convicted of felonies can still run for office.
Yeah, but the only thing I'm thinking is like Martin Luther King or the people around him, like with the Black Panthers. It'd be very easy to lock someone up under trumped up charges.
It still is. It's actually easier now with this new administration.
Yeah, and
the administration
then they wouldn't be able to run, like taking out people who you don't want to be able to run against you.
That's what's happening now. There's. Vladimir Trump's coming for Act Blue. He's coming.
I saw that. Yes.
I mean, come on. And whoever doesn't know Act Blue, just Google it. I mean, this is some insane stuff what's going on. So we have to match that energy with fighters and with heroism that maybe a lot of people aren't used to. And maybe it's starting off small, going to town halls, going to city council meetings, being more savvy about where you get your news and where you get your facts so you educate yourself. Education's not in college necessarily. Like, you can become a smarter, better, more efficient human being by 100%. Educating yourself.
I think it's break the paper ceiling.
Yeah. I like the way you said that. Yeah. What was done recently is not even the most egregious, but it was something I really wanted to talk to you about because you'd mentioned when your family would have vacations that you would go to like national parks and stuff like that because it was like economical and obviously very beautiful, right?
You get like a rustic cabin, you know.
So Elon Musk and his Doge laid off 1,000 forestry workers. I'm sure you're already aware, and wildlife experts. They not only did they lose all of their income and they've lost their livelihood, but most of those workers, 1,000 workers, they're homeless now. Do you know that?
I did not know that. That's
because when you're working in the middle of nowhere in a park and in a wildlife preserve or at Yellowstone or at the Grand Canyon or where the president, South Dakota, where all the president's heads are, where Trump wanted to put his head. Mount Rushmore, yeah. Like those people that work in those parks and make sure that people aren't like, I went running down the trail. There was like a used maxi pad. There's no litter around, but somebody, and you could see that it had been used.
Yeah.
A maxi pad. That's what happens. And you'll see 1,000 maxi pads if there's no workers to keep it clean and to stop people from being savages. If there's no rules, how is this like, oh, we're tough on crime? They're laying everybody off that's going to make this country stay clean and cool. You know what I mean?
Seen the,
they're homeless.
Yogi Bear? Yeah, homeless. That's more important.
But let's talk about Yogi too. Yeah. Yogi Bear got fired.
Movie, Yogi Bear's fired. Park, it's like a live action, but animated. Like the park workers, one of the biggest things they have to deal with is fireworks. Like people setting up fireworks, if they monitor the parks.
Yep.
Because you can easily set forest fires, but people do it because you're lakeside. It doesn't seem dangerous.
You take for granted when you go for a hike and you're on like public land, you take for granted it looks so it stays beautiful, Dodo, because somebody is there. Even trails, at night.
Like someone has to mark all of them and maintain those markings. Just that.
Yep.
Like you're talking about people getting lost in vast wilderness.
Yeah. All the helicopter rescues and all that.
You don't think about every day that these people do to keep these beautiful places running.
All those people that would have gotten rescued between now and when we get rid of Trump, they're going to be dead because there's all those people that would have saved them are now out of a job and out of a home because they live on the park.
Yep.
Because that's where they work 24/7. So they have to live there. The government puts them up. It's not like they're making $100,000, $200,000 a year.
No more search and rescue because the person who was there 24/7 that we dispatched to you is no longer there. Or something happens. You have a heart attack. You get, I don't know, you're in the river, you slip and fall. I had that happen when I was on a trip in Hawaii. I didn't meet anyone, but, I was worried for a second that I might get lost.
I mean, it's worrisome that whatever you're feeling, whether it's an old person and their lack of social security, you as a young person and you're out in the middle of nowhere and you don't have resources and you don't have a signal on your phone like you were in Hawaii. Like, and everybody in between, I think everybody is feeling what happened to our country. Yeah. And it's only been 100 days. So just imagine what it's going to be like.
That is so true. Everyone is kind of thinking that. Like, even, my dad's like, he made a joke that he was going to have to jump off a cliff because his stock portfolio, their retirement
is gone.
Account is decimated right
How
now.
many people do you think have already, like in the whole United States, have already killed themselves?
I think it will get closer.
Seriously, how many do you think?
To that, I hope not many have been affected yet. I would really hope.
What's going on is so fast and furious and so egregious that I would say, I don't even know. The statistics are so high, even with like domestic violence, like it happens every, 5 times every second in this country. So just imagine the people that have really lost big in what's happened in Vladimir's first 100 days as president. And he's out pardoning the January 6th insurrectionists. Yeah. On top of that, they're trying to sue like they're victims, and the federal government is looking to settle with them and give them a lawsuit, and looking to settle Ashley Babbitt's family. Remember that bitch that stormed the Capitol and ended up getting killed? Well, that fool, their family did a wrongful death lawsuit, and the government, meaning Vladimir Trump and his colleagues, are looking to settle. What about the cop that killed himself? Yeah. What about all the cops that got injured that day? What about all the people that were running for their lives? Yep. The good people. And some of them were Republicans. They didn't care. Like, I still can't believe Trump even pardoned this bitch. Her name is Michelle Fior. She was using funds, she misappropriated, and I'm paraphrasing it a little bit, but basically she misappropriated funds that were supposed to go to injured police officers, injured in the line of duty, and she paid for her plastic surgery with that. That's insane. Just one of the things she did. She got pardoned by Trump.
So, Nevada politician. I remember hearing about her.
He is not even done with the abuses of pardoning. And so luckily, and I hope, again, as we have this new crop of fighters and heroes that come up in every, faction that we possibly can, which means everybody's got to step up and do something, or you're going to lose America. We will lose America, right? If everybody's doing a little bit of something, I think maybe the states can go after not only the insurrectionists, but people like Michelle Fior. Like, there's, you know what I mean? Like, even if they're prosecuted by federal, if there's certain guidelines that are tripped over and they can go after them through the state, I think every state should do that. We have to start really firing things up against this regime.
Things are, Abdul El Sayed is running in Michigan for Senate, and Bernie Sanders backed him, because they have a large immigrant community there, and people are very worried. And this was a long-held Republican seat, and the Democrat has a good chance of winning. Opportunity to win back young men.
I just, I Googled, because I read an article and they're like, new superstars of the domestic party, here's who could run in 2028. And it's the same crusty old names. I just hope it's still too soon, even though so much has happened that's bad in the first 100 days. It's still too soon for all of the big names to emerge. But all those same crusty names like Josh Shapiro, Gavin Newsom, we got to get rid of all this baggage. Kamala Harris, Michelle, the chick from Michigan.
I really hope Kamala does not win as our governor. I'm so disappointed in our state. And I know what we will. That's the thing.
No, we will, because it's the lesser of it's the lesser of two evils, but one being way more evil. If she was the president, I wouldn't be rejoicing, but I would have been so much happier and more, hopeful than what's going on now, because we have a greedy billionaire for our president that is using America like his own personal slush fund, and our military as his own personal henchman. There's some crazy shit. Like Hegseth, remember you told me about this guy, Hegseth? He hasn't been fired yet, but I'm hoping that'll be the first person that gets axed because their own stupidity.
And I saw he was in another group chat that had people unauthorized in it.
And he was caught revealing classified information to family members.
Yep.
I mean, the guy's an idiot.
I mean, he was an idiot on TV.
Yeah. But
Like, he was
given a platform.
drunk, and like, I don't know how you didn't see this coming. The dude was just sloppy.
Had he ever been convicted of a crime?
Not that I know of. I do not.
Not that it
believe
would have
so.
mattered, because of the lack of standards for people in politics. And once the president appoints you, I guess anything goes. Same thing with our legal system. There's so many problems. You got to kind of, maybe we got to burn it down to fix this kind of stuff. But in any case.
Oh, he did. In 2020, he settled a sexual assault accusation for $50,000, which means he did it.
Right. He settled, but he didn't get convicted.
He settled, so he didn't.
And by the way, even if he got convicted.
And he was on Fox News then, so he,
Even if he got convicted, though, he still would have been able to get that role. Because the president's saying, hey, I want him. It wouldn't have mattered, even if he got convicted. That's the scary part. So we do have to start changing the laws and the rules, because there's something seriously wrong with our country. America's got a cancer. And we gotta get it into treatment while we're still at stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 4, you're probably going to go.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if America dies? Like, people, I don't think, because you got to keep living. You got to find happiness and joy in your life, right? But I don't think people can even go there, because it's so, it feels so,
demoralizing.
Demoralizing isn't even strong enough a word. It's just not foreboding. It feels, improbable. It feels like it's almost like Armageddon. It's almost like a disaster movie. Like, it's so unthinkable that you just hope it never happens.
Yeah. On Breaking Points the other day, they were saying, like, there's never been a time in history when a president had, like, a big event happen that wasn't caused by some outside effect. Like,
he did it to
another
himself.
country. He did it to himself and made it really bad. And then his response to it was even worse. Like, none of this had to happen. He did it all himself. Like, we didn't go to war and make a bad decision like invading Iraq.
Right.
You did it to yourself. You decided to start a war with all these other economic war with all these other countries. And China, really? I saw the CEOs of Walmart and Target went to the Trump administration, were like, you got to knock this off. Like, in 30 days, when that's what it takes.
Be on the shelves.
Like, there's going to be nothing. Our shelves are going to be bare, and anything that's there can be super expensive. On Breaking Points, they went through a list. It was like baby products. It was like strollers, bottles, all of that. It was like 97% of it comes from China. Like, there are no American companies that like make a stroller here in America. There are no companies. So no more strollers. What do Americans do?
Knapsacks,
pretty much everything. It was like electronics.
Start
like
selling, girls.
Yeah.
Maybe then they'll get it. Maybe then
when
they'll
you
be
have
like,
a COVID like bare
Trump.
shelves, and already like the amount of, it was like 2 weeks, no shipments were coming in from China. So that will reverberate.
Yeah.
Like, I saw toys. It was like the expected prices of them is crazy. People were dying potatoes because they couldn't afford eggs. Just everything. I think all of these things that make us start to feel like we're in a depression, or you can't buy something for your kid. I think you get everyday people upset, or the, white moms, black moms, any mom.
Any color mom. As long as you're a mom, you should be irate right now, and you better start fighting in whatever way you can. No one's telling you what to do. Just do something. Do something so that this can end.
I think you gotta piss people off enough first so that they see, because we had a large portion of people who vote for Trump. And yeah, they may have done it for one reason or the other, but, because they didn't want Kamala, a woman.
They didn't want a woman. I'm sure a lot of people are inherently racist. They want the immigrants gone.
I think to push them to the other side, like shift that Overton window. And like, okay, we did cut all the government. Things got really bad. Maybe we do need more government. We do need more programs.
We gotta cut the waste without cutting programs.
Do you know where all the waste, fraud, and abuse is? That was the other thing Steve Bannon rightly said. He was like, Elon
they were the key wasters and abusers.
Their $1 trillion for 2 weeks, and he found nothing. He gave them another $150 billion. He's like, that's where all the waste, fraud, and abuse is.
By the way, government spending is up. He's gutted the government, and they just did a report, and the government spending is actually up. He put more gold in the White House. He put in 2 new flagpoles. Every time he golfs, it costs the country a couple of $1 million.
I can't even
every
imagine.
Time, and he golfs more than any other president.
He even beat his old record.
And he has a big family because he has all those damn kids, and they have to also be accounted for. So he's costing the American people more than any other president ever. I mean, it's kind of insane. But back, okay.
But all the people to check our food and do all of that are not there.
Oh my God.
So good luck to us.
They're not even actually going to be checking grade A milk because I guess that is the most, it's the most high, like not high quality, but it's the cleanest of the milk. So basically they're saying it's superfluous to test that milk. So like, we're just going to gut all that.
Yeah. Like anything that.
Can you imagine? I mean, again, it's actually the beauty of hating cruelty and being vegan for this long is that more people are not going to want what I eat anyway. So I'm fine, but I do worry about the kids. And I worry about people like you.
Fruit and vegetables, produce, because contamination, we have the FDA there to monitor and catch it before it's distributed nationally and people start dying, like with spinach over the last, decade? Like all the spinach kept being contaminated with E. coli in the fields.
There was just one last week. It's a bagged lettuce and vegetable brand that's sold in supermarkets all over the country.
Yep.
And the FDA missed it. It was like a publicly funded, anyway, it's kind of scary stuff. We're going to go down a rabbit hole, but the publicly funded, company is the one that found it and the FDA completely missed it. And as far as I know, this was now a week ago, they didn't even respond when they were asked about it because there was no one to respond.
There's no one to respond.
There's nobody on the other end of the phone.
And they're the ones who issue the recalls and tell all the stores, you have to pull this. You can't sell this anymore. So, you're going to have stores out there, not Walmart or Target, who would be subject to huge lawsuits, like class actions. But smaller stores are like, I didn't hear about this. I don't know about that. Yeah. It's fine. I'm not going to throw this away.
No.
And then you kill people.
Look at what's going on with
very
measles.
Dangerous.
We're going to have like a measles.
I saw they're not even allowed to declare states of emergency in those states.
Here's the thing. When you do so much that's wrong so fast, it gets bad fast. So that is the thing that I think is going to shock a lot of people. All the people that didn't vote, or like maybe even like your mom who hate Trump, but was like, I just can't do Kamala. I can't do another 4 years of a Joe Bidenette. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those people are going to be swayed. All the middle that think Democrats are all about the elite and the woke bullshit, which by the way, I hate woke anything. Even the word is so stupid to me. Most Democrats are not into that shit.
Socially liberal without being economically. Like the Amazon thing or the Blue Origin sending women, but yet you have women in all of your places who
it's missing
close to pregnancy and it's like, we're going to discard of you. Like you're too slow. Sorry. Like you're working to support your future baby and you're too slow for them.
Right. So but this is about you. This is about you that the girlfriend of the second richest guy in the world who's founded Amazon is on the Blue Origin flight. That's for women. I'm sending ducks in space, or at least their lips. Duck lips in space is for women. Are you serious? Come on. But if there's one person that bought that, fuck you. Because those are the people we can't help. If you're that idiotic and that stupid, we can't help you. If you're still going to go to the Katy Perry concert, now go. I hope you literally break your leg.
I am honestly shocked. She did that whole thing. Like, obviously, I don't like Hillary, but, she came out for Hillary every time she ran. She did concerts and.
Not for free.
No, but I think she came out for Hillary.
I hated that shit. Democrats were focused on the past 3 elections. Hillary especially. I almost went to this thing with one of my, anyway, I'm not even going to go there, but it was a very celebrity thing. But they pay for that. Like most of those, like the Beyonce concert, I don't think that was for free. I think that came out of the $1 billion budget that was raised.
Yeah.
And me as somebody who's known a lot of celebrities and been around them pretty much my whole life, I am not a fan of that kind of thing because to me, the Democratic Party is not for that. We are not for the ultra rich and for the elite. We happen to have a lot of those people who should be for the people that need it the most because they have so much.
Exactly.
Those are the megaphones, but the core of the party is for the middle class. Surely.
And I think that's the problem. We need more Americans. The working class people who understand what it's like to make under $50 million a year.
Most of those people are probably making less than $100,000.
I'm saying billionaire.
They might even making 50.
Once you're a billionaire, you're completely out of touch. It's like J.K. Rowling's, which she's out of touch in social
so
ways.
many ways, but brought so much to this world, at least with Harry Potter
But economically,
charity.
she's very in touch because she didn't want to be a billionaire. She wanted to give away her money because she wrote the book on food stamps.
I mean,
she was on public assistance writing that book.
But if I was talking to a trans audience, they'd be like, fuck her.
Yes.
But I'm sorry. If they're saying, like, I'm sorry, but she brought something to a lot of people. She helped a lot of people. I'm not even a big fan of Harry Potter, but she's brought so much joy to billions of people over 25 years. And yes, I don't believe in her stance, but there should be backlash for that stance without removing and negating all of the positive
and that's a
things
problem
that they've
with
done.
the left. It's like, you say something, you get canceled. Like, you can't cancel Trump. He said the worst of the worst things.
Yeah.
And it's
I
like,
don't believe
he's
in
just joking.
cancellation. Unless you're a television show with poor ratings.
Or unless you, like, something you actually deserve to be canceled for, like sexually assaulting a woman or something like that.
But they still don't stay canceled.
No, they don't. They don't.
People don't stay canceled.
No.
That's the thing. So get rid of cancelizations. Get rid of, like, all, like, whatever the woke bullshit is. Like,
you asked me before, is it enabling? It's like, at a point, it's like, I know what your thoughts are, but I love you, and you probably won't be around for that much longer. So, you get in the time that you can before they're gone, because then you don't.
I mean, I like the way you said that, including the stuff that maybe people don't say, which is, look, I don't know how much longer you have, so I'm going to put up with all your crap because I may not have parents anymore. But I don't agree with you.
Give up trying to change their mind. I don't agree.
And I wish you would do it while you were still alive, because then I have more respect
Exactly.
for you. Like, those are the conversations that people may want to start having if they're going to be changing minds. Because
exactly.
It's for your future. Your parents will be dead, but you're the one who's going to be fucked if all this shit that they voted for can't get unraveled. We have to undo this shit. By the way, not to get all the immigrants back. Sorry. It's not that. It's not about more, like, trans rights and pronouns and more, like, wokeism. No. It is a constant, in my humble opinion. Oops, my mic. I'm sorry. I mess with stuff when I get passionate. All that, we have to be worried about the people that are, it's everybody, everyday people, middle class, people that work for a living in this country that are already here and struggling, homeless, veterans, kids that can't pay for school, much less college. Like, that's where we should be putting all of our all right. And unfortunately, when you're all the way over to the left, that's not a winning strategy. There's some things that you always will have to fight for and pick your battles. And although I'm on that same side for 9 out of 10 of those things, I just don't think that's where a big party is going to win an election and win and help heal our country, is by worrying about these things that are like 1% here and 1% there, and people that shouldn't even be in this country in the first place. Like, do I believe in asylum and I believe in a chance for a better life? Of course. But that's about
that's how all of us got, none of us, we're not Native Americans, like your parents or whatever came here,
Yeah. But we have to put those resources in literally getting the waste out of the system, not injecting more waste and corruption like Vladimir Trump's doing, but getting the waste out, getting the corruption out, and rebuilding the system and we have to redo our prison reform. We have to literally figure out a better legal system, new laws, immigration, all of that
better
stuff.
Better tax system. So
has to
lower
be,
income people don't pay more.
We should simplify it. It should be simplified. Yes. Less government, more simplification, but you've got to get rid of all of those loopholes where the drug dealers do be able to come in, even with the good people. And the people that are cheating on their taxes will get even bigger write-offs than those that aren't, because too many loopholes, too many this person, let's just look the other way. Let's figure this out. That's what's going on in our government and has been forever, but it's going on on steroids now, right in front of our face. And they're lying about it and saying, don't believe what you see. Don't believe what you read. And it's like, no, I believe what I can see. My bank account has gone down since you become president in a matter of weeks.
And billionaires are getting richer off my losses.
Thank you. And what is not insider trading in doing something that everybody knew would tank the system and then telling everybody, well, now you can buy, and then they buy and then
now's a great time to buy, he said. And
he was flagging people that had made, he made $250 million. He made $300 million. while people can't buy eggs. Are you nuts? I mean, this is what it gets me. Like, I lose my mic every time we talk
it's
because
very out of touch, which is
so
kind of shocking for Trump. That like he never does anything good for the working class, but he usually talks in working class terms.
Like, and he's big on like the economy will define me. Like he has never said that, but that's basically what he's
basically. That's like, always what. Yeah, but the fact that he's openly flouting that the rich are getting richer while we are struggling every day.
It's overconfidence. He's been given so much power. I think that's what starts to turn
the tide.
If we can stop it. I just hope we can stop it by the midterms. Because if he takes away, which he's trying to now, people's right to vote, certain people will be so marginalized, we could lose millions upon millions of votes. So that just means so many more of us have to step up and get out there to combat that deficit that he's created by taking away Americans' rights. I mean,
thankfully,
America
it's
first,
like mostly state by state
for real,
system,
but not his way.
Yeah, for voting, most of the states, like the federal government has rules, but states set like their votes. Like in Georgia or whatever, you need valid IDs, something else, and they make it harder to vote by mail. Like you don't automatically get a ballot like you do in
the
other
Republican
states
do.
Yeah, exactly. So you can change the rules for yourself. So I think it's important, like not just your federal elections, but local elections, like governors who have a lot of power over setting what your voting rules are, or how many polling locations there are, where the polling locations are, what hours they're open, what days they're open. That really affects, because you have working people who I can't take a day off. I can't get my ballot by mail. So what do? You just aren't able to vote? Maybe you would have voted. That is a big way that you can take away or disenfranchise lower income people that might not vote your way.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. The more you talk, the more I agree with what you're saying, and the more galvanized I hope it makes people, because I'm feeling that way. But it also is so shocking, and it's so, I'm kind of in shock. Like Linda McMahon is my F-who, because God, what a biatch, saying that she would like come after all the people that owe all this money on student loans and not come after all the other deadees to the United States first. Like really? During these tough economic times, right before a Republican recession, and you're going to come after the people that have paid for their college with loans, and now you're going to say, hey, you're going to pay up now. Like you're going to tell them after all this time where they've been deferred or they've been, able to have a little breathing room so that they could live.
Which would have let us declare more for
instead of investing in these people, now you're going to penalize them and say, oh, all the other people that have sucked on the American teat, you're good, but not these people that are going to invest in America's future.
Exactly.
I just couldn't believe that. So we are on the same page.
We are on the same page. And not only did they turn it over to like just debt collectors, but one of the most predatory and the most like charged with different violations. Like you're not allowed to call.
It's like a loan shark, almost like bottom run.
You're not allowed to call more than once a day. They keep calling and calling and calling people I know, and they're close to me. It's like, don't say anything to them. Like,
don't tell them anything. Yeah.
Like, she got all the details from them, and I was like, you just confirmed what they needed to know, so they can keep doing what they're doing.
That's horrible. Oh my God.
Thank you very much.
But now, so like everyone's just going to become even more pieces of garbage, and she shouldn't have been there in the first place. Let's face it. But like, I think what's happening in the current administration is their focus is on all the wrong things. It's all on them. And everything that they're doing, or I would say 95% of what they're doing, is hurting America in such a deep
100%.
way. We're talking about hundreds of millions of people that are being hurt, not just a small faction. Like, this is like some democracy killing shit that's going on.
Sold the line, go to college, that is the only way that you're going to make a better life for yourself. Your kids.
Yeah.
Your parents may not have been able to go to college, but that is what they push for. And now it's like, what does it work?
Don't come after those people. What I'm saying is that, look, at some point, people have to pay, right? Something, a little bit. But I think the SAVE program would have been perfect. And there was the money for it. There was allocation for it. And without all this greed and corruption that's happening now, more so than ever, because there's always been some, that's where that money could have been paid for that. Instead of enriching billionaires, we could have paid for that, helped our veterans, and helped our homeless all at the same time. But no, let's make the billionaires richer first and then fuck all these other people. That's what I'm not getting in what's happening.
So what's the name? Have more, 3 billion more in the bank. Wow.
Speaking of asshole billionaires, my hate inspiration for this week is still Elon Musk. I know it's like he is like every week running now, practically.
Congrats, he gets an award.
He gets an award, but it's literally a bag of steaming, flaming shit. He is such a piece of human garbage. Like, I went from not caring about him at all and not disliking him to now despising the man. He's such a piece of shit. He and Doge and just everything that he stands for just makes me fucking sick. Yeah. And some of what's happening now to Tesla, and because by the way, there's a lawsuit. They're accused of putting back the odometer so they wouldn't have to pay on warranty claims. Did you hear about that?
I did not hear about that. That does not surprise me.
And this is the person that's supposed to be telling people what to do in our country and how to live.
Finding fraud and abuse. That is fraud and abuse.
Only in America can you fight fraud and abuse by being the biggest fraudster and the biggest abuser. Like that's what's insane.
He's a liar. Like, he lies about timelines for things all the time.
He also, but no, you're not going to believe this. He threatened to deport the Tesla team that backed a whistleblower. There was a whistleblower that came forward because there was a braking issue with their cars. And the whistleblower brought it straight to Alania, and his team wanted that anybody, including the whistleblower and anybody who supported the whistleblower, to be deported.
Christiana Balan. Tesla whistleblower says Musk wanted to deport her team. Threatened me with deportation.
Can you believe that? So this person who's not even like, he's not even from America. He's South African.
Yes.
Talk about evil and talk about empowered by the administration that to me in a lot of ways is evil. You know, it's the power has really corrupted.
That's crazy.
Can you believe that? But that's happened. That's somebody who has been injected like a poison into our democracy who has power over it. He does have a lot of power. Yes. And I think the people have to take the power back. That is the moral of this story.
And the agencies that the NHTSA, National Highway Traffic Safety Association, they would be the ones to be investigating that claim. They also have been
slashed by that same person that should be investigated. Yes. Is that not ironic right there?
And incredibly dangerous because they brought up issues with the braking system.
It's unreal.
To stop your car. So not only did he threaten to deport them, he cut the agency that's going to be able to regulate the cars and recall them if needed.
It's unbelievable. I mean,
totally unbelievable.
We all have to step up. We all have to rise up. Hands off.
Authoritarian oligarchy.
100%. 100%.
So I will make him, after you just said that, he's my hate inspiration for the week. That you threatened to deport a person.
We are we're becoming way more on the wavelength that I had ever anticipated. From Bernie and now this, wow. So there's hope for everybody.
See, our generations can all the different generations, millennials, Gen Z, baby boomers, whatever.
Be careful. Don't go up from there. Like in my brain, I'm still 22. So
I'm talking about
watch it, sucker.
I'm talking about my parents, my mom at least. Can come around and be like, yeah, you know what, Bernie is right about that. And now that I have to pay my kids college debts, I really wish Bernie Sanders was president so he would have forgiven all the debts, or at least made save a reality.
Have an open mind.
Yes.
Don't just be so radicalized and closed off, whoever you are.
Exactly. And I think we can have discussions. We're very civil with each other.
And sometimes you don't have to be civil, but you have to realize there's another side.
Yes, exactly.
You have to have boundaries and somebody, right? Do we need to do a disclaimer this week, or let's just rely on some people to have the common sense to realize that this is entertainment. These are our views, our opinions, alleged.
Double-check anything we say. Open to it. We're glad to hear anything you have to say.
Give us the feedback.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Happy to hear it.
Feel
we'll
free.
Make a correction.
Again, we have open minds. Yes. So should everybody.
Open minds, open dialogue.
Thank you, as always. Love you.